So collaborative data ecosystems will be the next internet moment for private and public companies. So we as Capgemini are the first movers in this market. Since 2015, so we are driving data initiatives across Europe, but also driving partnerships with a lot of companies. So what we expect in the next few years is that 30% of the world economy will come from data ecosystems. So my name is Philip, so I'm driving the data ecosystem offering in the German market. And today I'm here with Jörg. So Jörg is our expert when it comes to data ecosystem in the banking industry. So yeah, great to have you here. So we're super excited to learn from you what's happening in the data ecosystem space in the banking industry. So what do you think about data ecosystems? So what's your point of view on this?
Yeah, great question, and thanks for having me. Data ecosystem, open data, data sharing, all different terminologies, but meaning the same thing, is a relatively new concept, as you said. And it's being evolved over time, we're pretty sure on that. So whatever I'm going to say is just the tip of the iceberg, honestly. However, what do I see in the market already is, if you take a look at our research, the Data Sharing Master, it indicates there will be a massive change to the way banks do business in the future. And we already see that. We see banks moving in the data sharing use cases already. KYC is a great example. Yet we see a vast majority of the banks not doing anything. They're unsure where to start. What is it all about? What's the business case? And they don't do anything. My personal opinion is that the change being infused by data sharing will be huge, and it can be a huge opportunity, but can be a huge threat to banks depending on what they do. So I suggest they put it on the top of their agenda.
Yeah, so that's super interesting. So what I hear a lot from my clients is they ask me, so what's in for me? So what's the benefit if I jump onto the data ecosystem train? So what's in for them?
Well, Philip, you know banks also a little bit, and they are subject to a variety of pressure over the last years. Regulatory pressure, they got cost pressure because of the legacy IT, and they got the pressure on the business model because the cash cows, like the account or the lending business, is fading away essentially. And we believe at Capgemini that if you do data sharing right as a bank, you will get answers to almost all of the challenges at hand. And one good example, for example, is ESG. We believe that banks can significantly reduce the effort required with ESG compliance if they invest in data sharing. They get access to data they otherwise wouldn't have, and they can reduce the effort to data cleansing and standardization. So that's a good benefit there. The even bigger opportunity is with increasing the top-line growth, for example. Imagine a bank combining their data with data from other industries, geolocation or customer preferences. They would then be in the position of profiling their customers better and offer better product variants. That's a great opportunity. The biggest opportunity, I personally believe, is if banks go one step further and consider data as a new business model in its own. And if you think about yourself, financial transaction is in all you do throughout the day. So banks sit on a pot of data that has value to other industries. So they become a data aggregator and can sell that data and make money out of it. That is great. So again, if you get data sharing right as a bank, you get answers to almost all of the questions.
Yeah, so that's great to hear. There's a lot of opportunity for banks. So I know that you're working in the banking industry since years, and you really know data sharing in this industry. So from your experience, what is the biggest challenge for banks just to jump on this and to make sure that they get the value out of data ecosystems?
Yeah, I don't think there's one big challenge. It's rather a couple of challenges. And here's my take at how banks should actually approach these challenges. If you know banks, they typically are quite defensive. So the first question a bank typically asks, what am I allowed to do? So in that context, what am I allowed to share in terms of data? And that is a clear-cut case because GDPR, for example, tells you clearly what you must and must not do with your data. So once you cross that bridge, the next obvious question for a bank is, what data am I able to share? Because I have the security, the processes, the people, and the system design in place. And banks haven't done a good job in the past to manage that complex technologies, cloud, AI, big data, all required for data ecosystems. So the remaining data then faces the most prominent question is, what data am I willing to share as a bank? And their bank are always quite reluctant to give away data because they believe it's competitive edge they have there. Personal opinion is that is way too defensive. It's neither appropriate nor sufficient if you want to become a data sharing master and benefit from data sharing. Rather, I urge banks to actually think the other way around, start from strategy and think about, what do I want to get out of data sharing? What is my strategy? Because if you are more offensive in your attitude, it's easy to derive the capability a bank needs to build up in order to share data and get out of it. And one of the capabilities banks will need is legal competence. They can then do legal landscaping, which allows them to implement the strategy they set off into real life. And that is where I personally believe lies the path to becoming a true data sharing master in the future for a bank.
So thanks, Jörg. Thanks for your insights. So just to conclude, data ecosystems will unleash new opportunities for banks. They will enable new services, will also improve existing services, and will help banks to build new business models. For me, it's also clear that banks need to shift gears from a defensive mode to collaborative offensive mode. So this brave new world is already here, and now it's up to you to decide if you want to tap on this. So we are ready for this, so we are all here to help you to tap on this new world. So again, Jörg, thanks for your insights. Super exciting. I'm really looking forward to do this again next time.
Cool, thanks.